In elementary school, my impression of the Canadian film industry was this. Luckily, I had the local video store to expand my horizons and let me know what a diverse bunch of films came from this country.
Someone is watching.
Visiting hours so frightening you may never recover. Starring Lee Grant, William Shatner, Linda Pearl.
In the 70s and 80s, Canada produced a whole slew of slasher movies. Back then, the government wanted to encourage the fledgling Canadian film industry, so there were all kinds of tax shelters. If you were a dentist or something, you'd give a few $1,000s to some bozo making a low-budget horror movie, and come tax time, cha-ching! You could write off the entire amount.
We're in the money, oh, I'm on the honey.
Well, that's one of the things that bothers the Canadian Film Development Corporation is you go and you borrow money from them, you make these dreadful movies, or the so-called dreadful by the critics.
Yeah. Questions are raised in the Houses of Parliament. Why is tax money? No, why is tax money going into this obscene, perverse film?
These glory days of horny young men and cannibal girls ended once the government found out how many people were abusing the system. Most of the films made were so bad they never got released. Other times, they didn't even bother making a movie. It was all a tax fraud.
Terrifying. And bizarre.
At least before it went away, we got some pretty interesting movies. From Black Christmas, to Prom Night, Happy Birthday to Me, My Bloody Valentine, the list goes on.
It's dull in our town since my playmates left.
In the 90s, the only English-language Canadian features to make it to the multiplex were boring art movies like A Sweet Hereafter and M. Butterfly. A lot of sad people talking. Now, a new generation of independent Canadian filmmakers are returning to our roots as purveyors of violent, exploitive schlock with no redeeming value. One such recent example is Dark Forest, from a group of Winnipeg filmmakers. Now, Winnipeg is a rough city, so I probably shouldn't be surprised they would choose to make Dark Forest. Other low-budget Canadian horror films of late, like Wolf Cop or Hobo with a Shotgun, have a sense of humor and a lot of fun. Dark Forest, on the other hand, might be one of the angriest movies I've seen. Abrasive. Cruel. Dark Forest is proud to be 70 minutes of sleazy nastiness.
Instagram!
The movie follows 4 young women going on a camping trip. There's 2 sisters and 2 friends, neither of whom I'd want to go camping with. The first friend has a video camera, and she is going to film everything. Is she making a documentary? Her framing is awful, and her directing skills are atrocious.
What do you want me to do?
Okay, just stand over there. And I'll film you. This will be the intro to our video.
What do you want me to say?
I don't know, think of something.
At first I was worried this was going to turn into one of those found footage movies. But as soon as Michael Moore here gets to the campsite, the battery in her camera dies, and that's it. We never see it again. You'd think after spending the first half of the movie playing around with her camera, it would have some significance later on. Like maybe she would discover an important clue when she reviewed the footage? Or the camera would take part in an ingenious scheme to save themselves? In drama, there's a rule called Chekhov's gun, which means items introduced in the first part of your story have to have a payoff later on. You don't show a character loading a gun unless it's going to be fired. I know the filmmakers understand this, because earlier on, we have this completely random mentioning of the lucky hammer.
Hey, it's your lucky hammer.
Just put it to the side.
Obviously, that will come back at some point. The other friend is dating arguably the worst person in Manitoba. Jeez, this guy is scary. An abusive, emotionally manipulative psycho, who even during broad daylight is bathed in a satanic light that makes everything look like it's been splashed with blood. Pissed the girls have gone camping. The psycho's dimwit buddies suggest they visit the girls' campsite and put a scare into them.
What's that for?
I'm gonna gut those bitches.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
There is another quartet of people camping in the same area.
these bitches.
What an asshole.
Heads up! Oh!
They are so rude and combative to one another, I wasn't sure if these guys actually knew the girls, or if they'd all just hooked up on Tinder that morning.
Did you get those dick pics I sent?
Oh my gosh, you're gonna talk about this right now.
Jeez, does everybody in Winnipeg hate each other? Why are these people together? Psycho Pete shows up and kills one of the couples. Not sure what his motivation is. Is he upset seeing two people expressing emotions he's incapable of? Shouldn't he be looking for his girlfriend? For some reason, he calls it a night, because the next day, the girls are still alive, and they head down to the lake for some swimming. Now we're talking. Disappointingly, there is no nudity. I get the impression the film is trying to make a feminist statement about abusive men, the pervasiveness of misogynistic language, and the ability of women to have agency of their own lives. So objectifying the lead actresses would look inconsistent, perhaps even hypocritical.
No TNA shots.
But come on, this is an exploitation movie. The audience is here for lurid violence. Is a little sex too much to ask for? And I can't help but notice most of the swim scene involves only two of the actresses. That lake looks like it might have been cold, so maybe these two told the director, "Fuck this, you can shoot us on the beach." When night falls, Psycho Pete comes out of hiding. The last 20 minutes of the movie is pretty much all stabbings, axes to the head, the reappearance of the lucky hammer.
Hey, it's your lucky hammer.
And our lead girl facing off against the killer, like Chuck Norris in his prime. What I admire most about Dark Forest is how gratuitously offensive everything is. The dialogue is all gutter talk.
Like your dick's a gun. Take care of her with your dick.
Why do you bring your slutty ass around here anyway? Fucking cunt!
The violence is senseless and tragic. The camera leers, taking big close-ups of disgusting blood drooling out of mouths. Putting together a feature-length film is a monumental achievement. Dark Forest is an independent production, so I'm sure every actor and technician was fortified by the support of family and friends. I imagine the premiere screening was packed full of all these people who had been encouraging them during this long road. Lifelong buddies, uncles and aunts, grandparents even. What was the reaction as this potty-mouthed, gross, violent movie unrolled? This is the kind of trash our nation's 21st century cinema was founded upon. Following in the footsteps of David Cronenberg, Ivan Reitman, and Bob Clark, films like Dark Forest fill me with patriotic pride.
Shenanigans, it's been a lot of fun, shenanigans, but now we've got to run. It's funny how the minutes seem to fly.